And we are back. And we just finished watching 1996's Whisper of the Heart. Oh, 1995, sorry. This is rated G with a runtime of 1 hour and 51 minutes. This comes to us from director Yoshifumi Kondô, who this was his only film, actually, and writers Hayao Miyazaki, Oi Hiiragi, the comic, Cindy Davis, screenplay English version, and screenplay English version Donald H. Hewitt.
Well, we didn't watch the English version. We watched
the Japanese, the original Japanese. Sorry. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm just reading the credits on IMDb. This is the story of Shizuki, a 13, 14-year-old girl, I guess whatever 8th grade is, right before high school.
Right before high school, yeah.
Who stumbles across the library book cards and notices that a certain name is constantly there.
In books she picks out.
That she takes out. SeijiAmasawa. And she kind of crafts this interesting little...
She imagines what kind of boy he
right.
would be. Is he good looking or not? Meanwhile, there's the typical early teen, preteen relationship drama going on with her friends. And this boy sent a letter to me that he likes me, but I don't really like him. I like this other
else.
boy, and interpersonal relationships. Also stressing out over getting into a good high school.
Grades.
Getting good grades.
Not getting in trouble with your parents.
Not getting in trouble with your parents.
Typical
stuff.
Yeah.
Getting sort of mad about silly things. Finding your talent. Finding what you truly want to do with your life. Your goals in life. Some kids, they start thinking about that at that age. Some earlier, some later. Yeah, so this is a very, like the definition of sort of a coming of age story, but animated and in Japan.
I'm going to go around the table and get impressions. G, I'm going to start with you. This was your pick. Excellent, by the way. Why did you want to watch this film?
I thought it looked cute.
What about it looked cute?
Like the romance aspect.
Mm-hmm. I mean, did you know anything about this film prior to seeing the trailer?
I knew about his little plot to get her to notice him. Mm-hmm. I think that's it.
Okay. Did this live up to your expectations, or?
Yeah, I thought it was nice.
Yeah, what'd you like?
I didn't really have like many expectations, not in a bad way, but just because like I only knew one thing about it, so I didn't really know like what was gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was good.
What did you like most about it? I feel like we can spoil this. This is from 1996.
Yeah, like I said, this is just sort of a coming of age thing, so there isn't really much in the way of spoilers. It's not like a major plot twist where you're just like, oh, I didn't see that coming. It's kind of there on the tin.
No, so what did you like most about the story?
Did you like the story?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you like about? I mean, you seem to enjoy the romance genre.
Yeah.
What about it? You just what's more romantic than that? What about you just like the interpersonal relationships, or do you like the way
they come together?
Story writers create these sort of scenarios where these people sort of intermingle and connect?
I like those. I like the how the storytellers make them like meet. I think it's especially nice when one of the characters specifically tries to get like events into motion so that the other character won't notice that they exist and whatnot.
And that was in play here?
Yeah. If we're giving out spoilers, he checked out as many books as he could from the library so that she'd eventually notice his name would keep popping up on the little book cards.
Yes.
That's kind of an intricate plan. What if it didn't pan out?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a carpet bomb type plan. Where
I mean, it worked out well enough, so...
Yeah, true.
Maybe he knew which book she liked.
I mean, if he was paying attention to her.
He did. I mean, he did
So was he stalking her?
No! Mom, stop talking.
Don't make it seedy.
Yeah, seriously. What's your problem? He just noticed her around, and he must have thought that she looked nice, so maybe he saw what kind of books she was reading, but he did say that he just checked out random books.
So was it love at first sight?
It was not love at first sight.
How would you know?
It was a little schoolboy crush, and it was not love.
It's attraction.
Yes, they didn't even know each other. She didn't even know him. He knew of her, and she didn't even know that he was
dropped the L-bomb at the end.
After 2 months.
And how long was he putting this plan in motion?
That's true.
I mean, that's like one thing that struck me when he said what his plan was like, my God, how many years has he been doing this? And also, that's a lot of wasted time when he could have just sort of gone up to her
and had conversation.
Yeah. So I guess it's sort of like a more. I mean, this fits what you were saying, G, with the whole romantic genre, where one character sort of tries to manipulate the world to.
Yeah, it's more romantic than just going up. Like, sure, that's like nice and all, but it's a romance movie.
Right. It would be kind of dull if the person was just like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Exactly.
And then then they go out.
Well, also, I think in answer to your question, he wasn't there very long because I think, didn't her friend say that a mutual friend of theirs was in his class, but he was sort of like very smart, but kind of aloof and hard to get to know. So he was only, I think, in that school the previous year.
No, the schools are different. It's when you're in a class, you're in a class. And sometimes you'll just never encounter other kids. He was in another class, but it was in the same building. I mean, you saw how all those kids reacted when he like knocked on the door and was like,
that was hilarious.
Could I see
Tsukishima, I think her name was.
Yeah, could I see her? And they're like, it's a guy. Or
they said a male.
It's a male.
What kind of stupid kid says, you got a visitor, a male?
Honey, it's 8th grade.
You could say a boy. Why do you say male?
It's being translated
too. Cultural. Yeah, so. We don't know how they talk over there.
That's true.
I mean, I know like an infinitesimally small amount of Japanese words, but I did hear words and the translation didn't line up with them. So there was some interpretation going on.
G, did you have a favorite character?
I liked Seiji. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name.
Why'd you like him?
Because he's the one who like put the events into motion to get to know her.
What if it hadn't worked out?
Then he might have found a different way.
I mean, what if it hadn't worked out? Like, she didn't reciprocate his feelings.
Well, then that's too bad.
Yeah. It's sort of like, oh, well, what could have been?
Right.
He's the thing with him was that he also had his passion for what he wanted to do in life. He knew what he wanted.
Right.
And he was like going for it, even though it meant foregoing high school. And also
being in Italy for 10 years.
Which is longer than high school, because high school is only 4 years.
Yeah. He was asking her to wait for him for 10 whole years.
I mean, I'm sure they'll see each other randomly throughout.
In
but
between.
Yeah, that is a long-distance relationship. And
for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite scene, G?
I guess my favorite scene would be like at the end when he asked her to marry him.
Why'd you like that?
It was really funny. It's supposed to be romantic, but they knew each other for like 2 years, and I laughed really hard. It was cute. But it just,
what would you do if a classmate came up to you and was like, gee, let's get married?
No.
That depends who they are.
No.
It depends on the events leading up to it. This wasn't just sort of like...
It wasn't like he just walked up to her and was like, oh, let's get married. Like, no, they were around each other.
Let's spend the rest of our lives together. Let's make a lifelong commitment before God.
Yeah. So there was a little event prior to him asking her to marry. So, yeah, it was cute, but it caught me off guard because usually in the stuff I watch, I know that it was still 2 months, but that's not that long.
Mm-hmm. I think
it's an eternity for a 13-year-old.
For a 13-year-old or 14-year-old.
I
think in a classic Ghibli fashion, I think the animation on this is really nice.
What?
It's 1995, like we said, so this is kind of like an older one, but it still holds up, I think. And one of my favorite sequences was when Shizuku and the Baron kind of have their adventure. I guess that's the story that she's telling. I like the way that's drawn. I like the fantasticality, I guess, of it. Just how that's drawn, how the story, that sequence of the story progressed and stuff like that. I agree with you. This is definitely like a coming of age story, which is kind of interesting because you don't really think of animated movies in that kind of broaching that theme. So it's kind of interesting to see it here. The characters are all very cute. I really enjoyed how, on top of being a coming of age story, it also felt very slice of life-ish because you get into the particulars of her day to day. Like you see her interact with her family, how she interacts with her older sister, how she interacts with her friend Yuko.
Yeah. How
she interacts with the teacher, the one that she asked to get to the library so that she could take out books. I enjoyed all those little things in the story. It definitely painted this broad picture of Shizuku, and you really like her, and you want her to be, I guess, happy here.
Yeah. One thing I notice about like Ghibli movies is they really
they take their time.
They build the environments around the character to tell you about what this character's life is like, and like give reason for why the character is the way that they are.
Yeah.
Like her little house, it was a disaster. There was just like stacks of newspaper. The mom and the dad were very busy with their personal lives. The mom's going to university. Trying to educate herself to get a job. This older sister's also going to university too.
And she's more of an active parent to...
Yeah, she's more of an active parent
than her own parents are.
Than her own parents. The room that they're in is like this cramped little room with a bunk bed. And you could see why she, like, cause Shizuku, she's a bit more forceful. She's not afraid to speak her mind. Mm-hmm. And you see that contrasted with her friend Yuko.
Who's very timid.
A little bit more timid. And then when you see her house, she lives in this big house where she's got this nice expansive room all by herself.
Well, she's probably like an only child, right? I don't think she had siblings.
I didn't see any siblings. Yeah, it was...
They look like they were in a better economic situation.
Definitely. She lived in a nicer neighborhood.
Yeah. Shizuku's front door seemed like a submarine hatch door.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
I was like, is that door made of like just like a sheet of steel?
Yeah,
I know. I was like, what is going on here?
On the inside, it had like that weird. At the bottom half, it had like a little protruding.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Like
what
I think that was just like a mail catch or something.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, that would make sense. But it was just like the way it closed. It made that thump.
Yeah, she lived in an apartment complex.
Yeah,
they had the laundry hanging on the terrace.
Yeah, the lines.
The kitchen,
the attention to detail in Ghibli movies.
The environments are so rich.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Even the streets, everything. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and kind of in conjunction with G's liking the final scene, the sunset on that was gorgeous. And even like the scene before where they're waiting for the sun to come up and you see the mist over the city. Mm-hmm. And Shizuku's like, basically, it's like, I guess, islands in the ocean.
Yeah, everything is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
The grandfather's shop with the little knickknacks everywhere.
Yeah.
The colors they used for that. Even on the pig that was holding the door open.
Yeah.
It's very eye-catching.
When they go to that place where, I guess, Louisa is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved those. I mean, I liked the whole movie, absolutely, but those were some of my favorite scenes because of the intricacies and the details and the colors. Olive G, what'd you think of the film?
I thought it was good.
Yeah, what'd you like about it?
I don't know. It's just a film. I liked it.
Do you like romance genre sort of stuff? I noticed for you, when feelings started getting announced and exposed to each other, you started cringing,
screaming in horror.
Yeah. Feelings could be icky. It's okay.
I just felt so embarrassed for her because like she's like a high schooler and like they're just
not even. I think she's 8th grade. Yeah,
she's like you.
She's like in elementary school and like people are just like, oh my god, hey, someone came to see you. He's a male, and like they're like watching them. Like I felt
that
so
was cringy.
bad.
Yeah, I agree with Ology here. That was cringe.
Also, like the fact that he wanted to marry her. Like you're in 8th grade. Come on, man.
He's probably thinking 10 years ahead.
Still,
it is like, weird, but it's. I guess.
Wouldn't you first ask her to be your girlfriend? Or you ask her to be your wife?
Or at least have kissed once or twice.
Yeah,
they don't even do
hugged.
That.
No.
They hugged.
I don't know if I would marry somebody I hadn't kissed.
Yeah. But as far as like the genre of film, do you like romance movies too, or you could take it or leave it?
I like bad romance movies.
Bad romance? Okay.
Why? Because you could laugh at them?
Yeah, I could laugh at them.
If for like an anime though, would you prefer this or would you prefer something more exciting? Like a more fantastical thing, or do you like this sort of slice of life?
I don't like either.
You don't like either?
No.
What do you like?
I like live action, really bad Hallmark romances.
Yeah.
I
kind of agree there.
Okay.
So I can laugh at them. They're funny, okay?
Yeah, sometimes those also have the benefit of having terrible acting on top of the terrible story.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And none of them are as pretty.
Yeah, no.
It's always the same thing. Just the sexy veterinarian widower. He's gonna.
Stupid.
I'm gonna.
I mean, I
leave
think
my
He's
busy
gonna
lifestyle.
fix me.
Yeah.
But Olive, I think like, okay, so you and I saw X-Mass, which was terrible.
Yeah, and also.
But it was good for ridiculing, absolutely. But I think I like this movie a little bit more. It's sweeter. I mean, I was having a hard time with that ending. I'm not going to lie. As a parent, I was incensed with the parents in this film. Just incensed.
The parents were a little too go with the flow.
Oh my God.
It's
I
just
wanted
like,
to
you're failing everything, but
okay,
we're going to trust you.
Yeah, we're going to let you do whatever the hell you
want.
want.
Allow you to fail for the next 2 months because you say you have to do this.
Yeah, like that was like beyond the pale.
And not even getting an explanation of what she has to do.
Right.
It's like, I see you working hard, but I don't know what you're working hard on, but whatever.
Yeah. So that annoyed me. It annoyed me that the older sister had to sort of step in and parent. That bothered me because that's not her job. The ending seemed a little too far-fetched because, again, I feel like you should maybe ask her out on a date before you ask her to marry you, but that's just me. I kind of was, and don't get me wrong, I like Shizuku, but I kind of was wondering what happened with Yuko because her story was more prevalent in the beginning. And then she sort of fell away as a character. And I get that Shizuku was the main character, but I was sort of invested in Yuku's story too. I wanted to see what happened there.
I mean,
and I didn't catch, like, I actually liked that scene where that boy, I can't remember how to say his name, but
Sugi?
Yeah, when
the
Sugi,
baseball player?
Yeah.
Sugimura.
When he tells her, "Oh, I like you." And she's just like that really caught her off guard. It caught me off guard. I didn't see that coming. Although you caught it.
Yeah, that didn't catch me off guard at all.
It did make sense afterwards when you started explaining the little tells, but I genuinely liked that scene because it felt very real. It felt very rooted in something that could possibly happen. And also, I was sort of interested to see like what would have happened. Does Shizuku ever tell Yoko, "Oh, he has a thing for me," or does she keep that? I'm guessing she kept it to herself, but
I have a feeling that would have appeared if this was an American movie.
Yes.
There's always like the point where the two friends start fighting and then the one is just like, "Well, he liked me."
Right.
And then it's just like, what? And then there's a wedge for like a half hour and then they get together at the end for
and
some
make
reason.
up. Yeah, sure. But I kind of was invested in her story, and she sort of disappeared afterwards. And I was kind of like, well, what happened with Yuko and her story? Because it was kind of part of the story.
I got the impression when Sugi walked up to her and says, "I told my friend you were not interested." Mm-hmm. And then he said something else to her, which made me think it was sort of like,
"Oh, we're good."
But yeah, like it's on between us.
It is on like Donkey Kong.
What?
So I got the impression that Sugi was he understood.
And he was on board with Yuko.
He understood how this girl liked him, and he was just like, you know what? Shizuki, or what's her name? Shizuko, she's not interested, but hey, this one is. And
Shizuku. Right? What'd you think?
I thought it was like I said, it's a cute coming of age story. It's interesting to see something like that in a different media than I'm used to. And like I said, I'm used to the more American style where there is some sort of ridiculous drama with like friends becoming enemies over nonsense. Like, "Oh, well, he liked me." And you see that so often.
Enemies
and
to lovers. Friends to lovers.
Yeah. And this just seemed more innocent and simple, and like even the ending, like I know you were saying it caught you off guard, but these are young kids.
Yeah.
Young kids say silly things and make these like crazy commitments where they honestly they don't understand because they've been on this planet for so long. Their sense of time is
they've been on this planet for such a short amount of time.
They've been on the planet for such a short amount of time that their sense of what reality is not realistic.
Sure, and it's
you could have these
fantastical
like
and romantic.
Grand romantic notions where I'm going to marry you and we're going to live happily ever after, and you don't know what the hell's going to happen in 10 years. He's going to freaking Italy for 10 years.
Yeah, he might meet someone.
Who he is now is not who he's going to be in 10 years.
Exactly. If you're the same person, if you're the same person in 10 years that you are now, there's something wrong. By then you should have grown. You should have experienced it, especially if you're traveling to a completely different environment and you're just engulfed in a different culture. your worldview and everything you see is going to be completely
So
different.
different.
It's exactly why people are crazy. People who have just been insulated in these communities are just like, well, he went to college, and when he came back, he was just he was a communist or something. And it has nothing to do with it. It's just that people go out, they explore, they travel, they meet different people, they hear different ideas, and they change. But a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, they're not going to understand that at that point. So they're going to make these like big, bold gestures. I love you. We'll get married. Okay, that's cute. That's sweet. It's not really. I don't consider that obsessive and crazy. If it was a 30-year-old man, or like these two people were in their 30s, and it's not good. They're not making rational decisions.
But I feel like even Penny told Gumball to take a number because she was not going to marry him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Penny
She's
was...
like, we're 12.
Penny understood. I don't know what was going on in Penny's life that made her understand that, you can't really do that sort of thing. But
probably because she just has more common sense than Gumball because
there
he's
you go.
nuts.
Gumball's a lunatic.
Gumball is nuts,
Yeah.
But we love them.
But when you're 13, you make childish, immature decisions because you're still very close to that era where, I mean, it wasn't too long ago when you were believing in fairies and monsters under the bed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I still believe in that stuff.
Yeah, you can.
You can, but I'm going to once again assure you, there is no monster under your bed.
Yeah.
Or in your closet. Or behind you when you're not looking.
You
The
don't
only
understand
monster is the big dust
imagination.
bunny that lives there because you don't really clean up after yourself.
We're not talking about this. We're talking about the film. Please
Okay,
redirect yourselves.
Please focus. She's like the
All
older
right,
sister.
She-Who.
Yeah.
She-Ho.
She-Ho.
She is the older sister. There you go.
Yeah, you really are, Jay. When I was watching her, I was like, this is such a G thing to
She's gonna
do.
lay down the law.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that ending didn't bother me.
It didn't bother me, but it sort of took me out, I guess, because culturally, having been a 13, 14-year-old girl, that it just was so out of the realm of reality that I was just like, wait a minute, what is happening now?
That you would just say, I love you and let's get married? Or
That
I wanna
anybody,
marry
me or a boy, would say that to me. I would be like, are you high?
you? Yeah.
Are you high right now? What is going through your brain? I don't think I ever said I love you to anybody till I was way older.
Yeah, there are different people. So
Sure.
I could see it. And I also liked the whole concept of trying to figure out what you want.
Yes.
That was one thing that they were talking about. And also the whole metaphor that the old man was trying to teach her with the stone. That the first time you do something, it's just this unpolished rock with this little glint of brilliance inside of it. But then through time and effort and skill and practice, eventually you get it out. But you have to want to do it.
Right.
You have to have that passion to do it. And that's a definite life lesson that a lot of kids
Young
need
people,
because sometimes it's just like, I didn't get it right the first time. It sucks.
I'm just going to give up.
I'm not going to do nothing.
Did you just side-eye me?
No.
It's a true lesson.
Do we have any other commentary for the film?
Not really. I mean, we talked about the great animation. We talked about the cute story. I would say, just like looking at the thumbnail that's presented by what we saw it on Max,
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to be like some sort of fantasy drama with a talking cat.
I did too. I did too, actually.
That's like, there's practically nothing in there with the cat talking or anything.
Nothing.
I thought they had the wrong movie poster because that looked like the movie poster for The Cat Returns. So
Yes, which apparently is the sequel to this movie. But it was funny because, yes, absolutely agree with what you said. Shizuku is the main character and she's not on the thumbnail. She's not even acknowledged.
Yeah. She is, but she's like in that dress. She doesn't look like she normally does.
I guess.
Even her hair looks different though. Like it looks.
Yeah,
like
but it's still supposed to be her. She's the one with the cat.
All right, fair enough. I also thought I thought the cat was going to be a more prominent part of the story.
I mean, he's not like that minor, but he's still part of it. Like.
Yeah, but this is more
he's a part of her story, and
they're
he's a
fantastical
part of the
elements to the
memories.
story, but this is more of a coming of age, slice of life story to me.
Yeah, I mean, the only time the Baron comes into play is when she's describing her story. So you get like a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And that was also strange. The whole find the right one. And she finds the right stone.
Yeah.
And she opens her hands and it's like this little dead chick.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was weird. I guess that's just, maybe that was supposed to symbolize her anxiety of failure or something.
Maybe.
That she finds the right thing, but in the end, it's just a failure. Instead of this brilliant, beautiful thing, it's just this little dead brown bird.
Crazy.
Yeah, you could analyze this film, and we haven't even gone into the whole country road aspect.
Yes, I was going to
Country
say.
road.
So I read the lyrics to G prior to us getting on the Roadcaster, and I still am kind of miffed of the correlation. I mean, the song is predominant throughout the film, from the first frame till the end. So I wasn't sure. I mean, when I listen to Country Road, I think of going home and being in a place where I feel safe and where I belong and stuff like that. I don't know if that was necessarily the theme here.
Whenever I think of Country Road, I think of Alabama.
Why? That's not even mentioned in Country Road.
I don't know.
I know, it's West Virginia.
I just think of Sweet Home Alabama.
Well, I think,
That's a different song.
I could be totally wrong, but the only time they actually play Country Road is in the beginning. All the other times they're singing Country Road, they're versions of lyrics that Shizuku is making. They're not the actual lyrics to the song. And in the final lyrics, the only correlation I could see to the story is there's a part in the song that she wrote where she talks about sort of like returning to a place or a feeling that she could never return to. And she mentions something like that about when she's trying to find her, I guess, her passion or whatever, or what she wants to do with her life. And she talks about how like even like reading doesn't excite her anymore. It's like something like when she was young, it was just like, wow, this is amazing. This is wonderful. And now that as she gets older, as the older she gets, that sort of enthusiasm for that or that passion for that goes away. And that's just something that happens as people grow older. We were just talking about if you haven't evolved in 10 years, there's something wrong with you. There should be some sort of growth in 10 years, no matter how old you are. And this is especially true for somebody who's only 13.
Right.
I mean, 10 years prior, she was 3. She doesn't even remember what the hell that was like. But now she's like getting older, and the stuff that she probably loved when she was 10 or 11, by the time you're 13, it starts changing. And like you could even see it in the way like all of a sudden relationships are just so important now, where the entire class is just like, hey, what's going on?
All in her business.
Sticking their head out the door to the point where they bust through the door with like a dozen kids dogpiled on one another. It's just different when you're
so nosy.
When you're like 4 years prior to that, they probably thought girls had cooties and boys were ick.
Yeah. Boys can be ick.
Yeah.
Boys were ick.
So
boys are ick.
There's like I could see in the lyrics that she wrote, it was sort of like about that. And using that metaphor of remembering the country roads from when you grew up and knowing that you can never go back to those. So it's sad.
Kind of.
I mean,
because you lose
song,
your innocence.
Yeah, the song, even the actual song, it's a lovely song, but it has like a melancholy sort of homesickness to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And but at least with that, you could picture him. Yeah, he can go back there. But for Shizuku, it's a place you could never go back to.
She also, in the beginning, I think one of her first conversations with Yuko was sort of like, I don't remember if it was Yuko or Shizuku, who basically was like, it would be nice to have a boyfriend, because then going through these things.
Each other.
Right.
Yeah, that's just also a strange view. Because
Yeah.
I've never heard, I want a boyfriend so we can encourage each other to do better at school.
Yeah.
I've never heard that in anything.
Yeah, same.
Boyfriends and girlfriends, it's just a distraction. It's just like, I would rather make out with you than study.
Same. Yeah. I mean, it might be, you know what? It might be cultural because we don't understand it. I mean, this is not our culture, and you and I are same in age, and just things are different. Things are different when we were 13, 14. So...
All
right. I'm going to go around the table and get numbers. Olive G, I'm going to start with you. 1 to 10.
7.
7. Gigi.
I like this film. I'll give it an 8.
8.
I too would probably give it a 7.
I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to say 7.5. I think from where it starts to where it ends, it's a lovely story. It's the only film that Yoshifumi Kondô made, who apparently, according to IMDb trivia, was supposed to be Miyazaki's heir apparent at Ghibli, but unfortunately had a brain aneurysm and passed away.
Oh, that's terrible.
So that's sad to hear. Yeah, I think there's a lot of, again, agreed with what you said. It's definitely a coming of age. I felt like it was slice of life. So it's kind of nice to see that sort of genre in the animated format. I think it works well here. I think the way that Ghibli takes its time to really get you to know their characters is really well done and really well handled here. You certainly get a sense of who Shizuku is. You come to really like this young woman.
Yeah.
Any other parting thoughts?
Not really.
No.
I just think this is a good film and that people should give it like a watch.
Yes, absolutely. We caught this
I
on
agree.
Max, so where I think most of the Ghibli collection is.
Yeah,
if
yeah, the
you
whole
have not
subsection.
watched it, absolutely check out Whisper of the Heart from 1995, rated G, so general audiences. There's nothing objectionable here. No. This is 1 hour and 51 minutes. I mean, only if you're squeamish about people's
Boobs.
No, there's no boobs.
There
Don't
are no
say that.
boobs in this film
At all.
whatsoever.
At all. Yeah, I was going to say the only thing is if you're squeamish about feelings.
Yeah, like Olivier's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boobs.
All right.
No.
All right. And with that, I guess we'll wrap it up and we will bid you all a
Good night.
Good night.
good night.